So today we are here with my good friend Chris and the two Land Cruisers, which I'm sure you have seen before on the channel. And I do believe that the Land Cruiser Prado is the perfect base for a budget Overlander, and with a few simple mods like Chris has done on his, it can become a perfect vehicle for long expeditions. So today we will be having a look at Chris's Land Cruiser and the mods he has done to the vehicle. So we have both cars here today because mine isn't lifted. It has changed a bit since the last time you have seen it. It now has some method wheels and no side steps. But as you can see, there is quite a bit of a difference. You think it is only a 2-inch lift, but the difference it has made is obvious.
Substantial.
So yeah, the first mod on Chris's Land Cruiser is a 2-inch lift from Old Man Emu. So good quality stuff. Don't go for the eBay lifts because those suck.
Go for something that was made in Australia.
Yeah,
sure.
go for something that was made in Australia because those guys know what they are doing.
Exactly.
So yeah, it has improved the ride, hasn't it?
It has definitely improved the ride. Combined with the new bush joints that we've put, it's definitely made everything more stable. Everything seems a bit tighter, but also not to the point where it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely happier with how it is now versus how it was before.
Yeah, so as I have said in the buyer's guide video, these cars do go through bushings quite a lot if you drive them off-road. So Chris has changed all the bushings with polyurethane ones, which are stronger and will hopefully last for a longer time. I have done the same on my car 5 years ago and they're still fine. So yeah, they do a good job. Now on the roof we have a custom-made roof rack, or a homemade roof rack with some traction boards on the other side, which I think are interesting because there are some cheap ones from Amazon, but they have been holding up quite well. How long have you had those?
Well, it's not so much how long I've had them for, it's mostly how many times I've used them.
Yeah.
And I have used them to get some tourists out of Akamas when they were stuck on a buggy on the sand. I've also used them to get myself out on a muddy situation, and I've used them in the snow to get some cars that were stuck. So
yeah, we also used them together when we were camping.
Yes,
yeah,
correct,
and
to
we
get the Land Rover out.
We
yes.
used them quite, and the Land Cruiser up the hill.
Yes.
After at night. So
they've been around for sure.
yeah, we have used them quite a lot, and they have been holding up, and that's impressive because they are cheap.
And I really don't think you should really get the brands like Max Trax and whatever, because I mean, like sometimes the best names aren't always the best results. You can get pretty good results with just the average product.
You can buy like 3 or 4 sets of these before you buy.
Yeah, before you even buy one set of Max Trax.
So even if you break them, you have plenty of leeway before you arrive at the money of the Max Trax.
It's not like they're gonna snap in half all of a sudden. They're gonna warn you before they completely break.
Wheels and tires. We have some aftermarket wheels which were on the car, so we are not exactly sure what kind of wheels they are.
Yeah.
But
sure.
we have 265, 75, 16 all-terrains from BF Goodrich, which I think is the perfect size for this car. They are slightly taller than stock, but they are not too tall to the point where you need to start cutting the seams.
Shaving bits off the car.
Yeah, and they do not make much of a difference on road, so you won't lose power, fuel economy doesn't suffer. So they work great for an Overland tourer, which is also going to be doing a lot of miles on road. This is actually Chris's only car, and he drives this thing a lot.
I drive it every day.
Yeah. So the sensible decision was to go with all-terrains in this size. There is a small amount of rubbing in the wheel arch, which is exactly the same on my car. I have the exact same size tires, but other than that, you don't really need to do much to fit these.
And from my personal experience, the only time they actually rub the wheel arches is when it's a really closed angle on a slope.
Yeah.
Everyday life is just pretty much unaffected.
So pretty much you have to be at full lock on the steering and with the suspension flexing. It's also worth noting that the 2-inch lift from Old Manimu does not require aftermarket control arms, upper or lowers, because it is within the limits of the alignment, so you do not need to change any of those. So it is the most budget-friendly lift kit with the best results, if you want. Now, here we have some rock sliders which took the place of the side steps. We will need to make these a bit more sturdy because they mount on the body mounts. So
as you can see, they do bounce quite a bit.
Yeah. So I think if we weld 2 legs right here that will mount straight on the factory side step mounts, these will be very sturdy and will be able to hold the weight of the vehicle. But Chris doesn't really use them as rock sliders. It's mostly for getting in the car. So for now, they are fine.
Again, it's an IFS vehicle. I tend to not do solid axle stuff with it. So
yeah.
far so good.
So another thing I wanted to mention is when you are building up a vehicle, you need to take into account the base of the vehicle. This vehicle is an IFS. It does have capabilities, but there is not much point in trying to lift it 3 or 4 inches and putting huge tires on it, because you are never going to get the results you are going to get out of a solid axle. So it is better to build it around the mindset that this vehicle works great on road and is very good off-road, but to a certain extent. So these mods suit the base of the vehicle. So you wouldn't do what you have done to this vehicle on a solid axle vehicle, because, well, you can do it, but you won't have the results you have with this vehicle. Moving on to the rear, we have Chris's...
This is my pride and joy.
Yeah, proudest creation.
This is essentially about 55 euros worth of investment, and it's basically a bin. It opens up like a regular bin.
Yeah,
it doesn't have a bag in it at the moment. I just cleared it today. But yeah, it's just a military style bag that attaches like a backpack to the spare wheel, and with a few straps just pretty much holds it in place. We've done a lot of off-roading this past weekend and hasn't moved an inch.
It's actually been on there for a year.
It's been on for more than a year, yeah.
Yeah.
So I might bring it to the market at some point.
A more refined version.
A more refined version for sure, yeah.
Do you want to have a look at the drawers?
Yes. The car isn't in the best, most organized shape, but I will show you my drawers. Basically, these are custom made by a gentleman in Larnaca here in Cyprus, and basically there's a latch that you release, and in it you can find everything from barbecue gas cans, full-blown barbecues. That was the gas can. Portable toilets for camping, binoculars, axes in there for cutting branches and trees and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So overall, it was a great investment. It was pretty cheap for what it was, compared to, you know, getting a full-size branded canopy and whatever, which I didn't want, because I wanted to go with a budget option and not the most expensive stuff out there.
When you remove the 2 rear seats of the Prado, so the third row seats, you actually have a lot of space to put whatever you want back here, and you also have good payload because this car is an 8-seater, so it was made to carry weight from the factory. So adding some drawers is easy. Just make sure that the drawers you add are secured to the tie-down points, just in case you have an accident. You don't want them flying over and hitting your head.
The other good thing about this is that you can use it as a support foundation for a mattress.
Yep.
So if you put the middle seats down, you can pretty much, you have about 1.90 meters to 2 meters of length. I'm 187, so it fits me perfectly for camping if I wanted to camp in the actual vehicle and not at that.
Yeah. So I have actually measured the boot of the Prado with the seats down. It's 2 meters lengthwise and 1 meter and 40 centimeters width-wise. So you can pretty much fit a small two size mattress in the back. so there's plenty of space to sleep. Yeah, so other than that, inside the car is pretty much stock.
Pretty much stock.
It's
yeah.
actually, it has a unique color dashboard and seats, which not many of these Land Cruisers have. But yeah, other than that, we have the rear locker. UK spec Land Cruisers. We are not in the UK, but the Land Cruisers that made it over here were the UK spec ones. And the UK spec Land Cruisers have the rear locker, which the Japanese ones and the Australian market ones do not have. I think they just have an LSD. So with the rear locker, this thing can go pretty much anywhere you want to go in terms of seeing places. If you want to be a bit more creative and go for the tougher trails that usually don't really go anywhere, you just go there for fun, then you might be better off with an 80 series Land Cruiser. But for exploring, this thing is comfortable, it's powerful, it has a lot of space, it is very capable. So yeah, I think with some basic mods, it is the ultimate Overland tourer.
The only time I've ever got stuck is because I was just being stupid and I had to go further when I could clearly see that the limit was where I left it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's usually my own stupidity that's causing me to be bogged. But
Yep.
most of the time it just cruises over stuff that I did not expect it to cruise over. So
Yeah.
very happy with it so far.
Yep. So it is worth mentioning that both of them actually are the 3-liter turbo diesel engines and not the 3.4 petrol ones. I do believe that the power curve on these cars is great both on and off-road. You can pretty much cruise up any hill on road at between 1,500 and 2,000 RPMs. You have the torque down low to drive over obstacles. So yeah, they do perform great. I wanted to say that Chris has 2 YouTube channels, which are both linked in the comments down below. So definitely go have a look if you like some mining and some other Land Cruiser adventures. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.